Hi, I'm Ian Clark, Product Development Manager at ServiceTracker, and today we're going to talk about setting up inspection items. So there are three major parts to setting up inspection items. The first is the record type. The record type defines who can see inspections and which page layout will be used to display those inspections. The item type is a subtype within RecordTypes and allows us to say if an outlet is a hot outlet, a cold outlet, or a shower head. And the third is the page layout. These are the questions that will appear in ServiceTracker for each record type and be visible for the technician to answer. So let's go to ServiceTracker and set up an example outlet. So first we need to go to setup. So for most people you're going to have a setup link up at the top here, or click on your name, which expands out, and you'll see setup. So once we click into setup, we can go to our left-hand menu, into the build section, and we want to expand the create menu. From there we click on objects. This shows us a list of all the objects in ServiceTracker, and here we find the inspection item and the inspection. The inspection item is a representation of the object itself, the physical object on the ground at your customer's premises, so this would be the outlet itself. The inspection is where we store the questions for that outlet, so that would be the temperature, whether it has any scale, and any comments that the technician would want to add. So we're going to start by going into the inspection item. This is a little bit simpler than the inspection itself, as we only need to set up a record type. So we scroll down to the bottom of this page, and we have this record type section here. Click on New. Now we always use the master as the existing type, and from here we're going to set up an outlet. And I'm just going to add into the description that this could be hot taps, cold taps, shower heads. Now we need to make it active to be able to use it, and in general we will make this available to every profile in the system. When you've done that, just hiding behind my head is the next button. Click on next, and then we select a page layout. Now because the assets themselves, especially taps, are very simple, we would normally just pick the standard water asset layout. From there, again, down at the bottom right of the screen, we click on the Save button. And now we have our outlet record type. So now we need to set up the questions that we're going to ask. In this case, we're going to do temperature, whether the outlet has any scale, and a comments section for the engineer to put any extra information. So again, we click onto objects on the left-hand side, and now we go to inspections. So first off, we're going to set up a page layout. You can find these either here, and click on New, or you can scroll down the screen to the page layout section, and again, click on New. So this is essentially going to be what the technician sees. We're going to use an existing one. So we're going to take the color file layout, and we're going to call it outlet. Then we press save. So this shows us our new outlet layout. Now we have inspection detail, inspection results, chlorination details, etc. for our clarifier. Ours will be simpler than this, so what we can actually do is take these sections out. Remove any fields we don't care for. Then what we need to do is drag a section in between information and system information, which we will normally call inspection detail. Okay, at this point we click save. Go back to the inspection. So now we have our container for the questions that we're going to ask, and now we just need to make sure that we have all the fields required. So here are the custom fields and relationships. And generally, if we were looking for a temperature, it would normally already exist in ServiceTracker. So we have a cold water temperature, specific one here, mains water temperature, stored water temperature. Well, let's just say in our example though, we didn't want to use any of those, and we want to create one just called temperature. We can click on new. As it's a temperature, we'll pick a number field, and then click next. So we tell the system it's temperature. If we want to track it to decimal places, we can change this to 16 and 2. If it was a whole number, we could leave it as it was, but basically these two numbers need to add to 18. So in the description, we'll type in the temperature at the outlet. Copy the same into the help text, which would then appear like this if we floated over it in ServiceTracker. Then we click next. Make it visible to all users. And if we had a portal user and we wanted them to not have edit access, we can click here and here for our portal profiles, which will allow read-only access to them. Then we click next. So this step 4 asks us which page layouts do we want to add this field to. Well, we don't want to add it to every field, but we do want to add it to our outlet field. Now if we were finished, we could just click save, but because I want to add the scale and the comments, I'm going to click save and new. So my scale might be a pick list field. I may have values such as heavy, light, medium scaling, or none. So I'm going to take a pick list and click next. And call this level upscale. I want to enter my own values, so I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to say none, light, medium, and heavy. Just type in my description again and help text, then click next. So again we get to the screen in step 3 that says who can see this, and similarly we're going to say everybody and make it read only for our portal users. Click next up at the top, and we only want this on the outlet. So at this point we can click save. Now the third thing we were going to add was a comments field. Now we already have one of these in ServiceTracker, and it's called inspection notes. You can see it there. So to finish the process now, we're going to go to our page layouts. We're going to edit the outlet layout. So you can see we added these earlier, the temperature and level of scale, and they've appeared up at the top. So we just want to drag these down into the inspection detail. This will be the section that the technicians will be able to change on their mobile. And then if we search for notes up at the top here in the quick find, we can grab the inspection notes, pull that down onto the inspection, and hit save. So now we have our fields on our page layout, but we don't have a matching record type. So we scroll down to the record type section, click on new. Again we use the master, and it's important that outlet matches the outlet in the inspection item. If these don't match one to one, then ServiceTracker is unable to create the inspections. So again, make it available to everybody, make sure it's active, scroll down to the bottom, and just below my head again is the next button. We click on next. Now we've already created our layout for the outlet, so we can select this. And again at the bottom, we have the save button, which we'll click. Okay, and now we see which pick lists are available for editing in this record type. Now we created level of scale, so what we can do is go in and check level of scale, and you can see all of these are available. If we wanted to remove one from this record type, then we could move it across left to right. In this case, we've just created it and we're sure these values are correct. You can also set a default if you wish, and press save. So now we've created the outlet record type for inspections and inspection items, and given the questions that we're going to use for that. In the next video, we'll talk through how you add those to the system. Thank you.